But welcome everybody. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button.
I remember in middle school when you felt self-conscious if you were the last one to go through puberty. That really went topsy-turvy, didn't it?
Sometimes the Hasbara, it's too much explaining yourself and it's too apologetic.
Be sure to hit the notifications bell.
I actually do believe Israel won't just bomb countless civilians.
Be sure to tweet this out. Be sure to put this up on your Facebook.
You have to be kind to people. Be kind to the guys in this mess in the first place.
Put this up on your Reddit.
Chile is a country.
Be sure to cut and paste a link to this to go into your favorite Facebook chat group.
It's good to see so many normal people in here.
Now, spanking isn't just my deep, dark personal secret. It's America's deep, dark secret.
I've never seen it explained so simply anywhere.
Put this on WhatsApp. Put this on Telegram. Put this on your favorite messenger app.
Hello, and welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host, an Untitled Anarchist Seagull called Elise. And sorry for the slight delay, I had an annoying minor technical difficulty with OBS. The thing about OBS is, when you set it up, OBS, for anyone who doesn't do streaming, it's great free streaming software. And when you connect your OBS to your streaming accounts, you get integrations. You get like a dock that has the chat that can show you the viewer count and all that stuff, and allow you to just keep an eye on chat and stuff in real time, and other useful things. But the annoying thing is, if you accidentally click out of that stuff, the only way to get it back is apparently to disconnect your account from OBS and then reconnect it, which means you have to go off. If you've started streaming, you have to actually go off and go back on. So I decided, under the circumstances, probably better to just do that since I hadn't actually started yet. Okay, so just to kick us off, as I've mentioned last week, I've been working, and am still working, on sort of a forensic chronology of the investigations into Israeli claims about the 7th of October, and just to show sort of who, when a responsible journalist should have known that certain things were bullshit, etc. And something dropped on that today. An Israeli journalist by the name of Rami Davidian, who has he's an investigative reporter there, who's actually previously exposed some grifting shitheads who have promoted all sorts of bullshit around the 7th of October. Well, he exposed another one, and it's particularly of interest to us as well, just because it is from that horrible bullshit Sheryl Sandberg fake documentary that Ethan Klein relies so heavily on. So here, so Rami Davidian had put together a whole segment on this guy, Rami Davidian, who had basically his stories about what he supposedly did on the 7th of October. You can tell this guy, when he was making this shit up, he was clearly thinking, am I going to be played in the movie by Harrison Ford, or am I going to be played by Steven Seagal? Anyway, I mean, the stuff was just lacked any credibility, and it was totally inconsistent in so many ways. But anyway, so Drucker, this journo, was gonna air a segment on Channel 13 in Israel on how full of shit this guy is, on how he made everything up, to be clear. And Channel 13 decided to axe the segment. But here's what Drucker says this is BM's translation. Good person to follow. It's, at I Really Hate You on Twitter. His translation of what Drucker had to say on this. It says, These are not slight exaggerations, slight inflating of the number of those rescued. The guy claims to have rescued hundreds of people. Absolutely not. These are stories made up from beginning to end. Hair-raising stories that never really happened. Sometimes they come at the expense of people who are actually involved in those stories. Many of the leads that have reached us began with the pain of people who rescued, saved, came out, and were shocked to hear how they disappeared from the story. Some of the stories have been quoted in a reputable film. Reputable film here refers to the Sheryl Sandberg bullshit. In newspapers around the world, in an important book. In the year and a half since October 7th attacks, Davidian has turned his stories into an industry. Countless paid lectures in Israel and abroad. Fundraising campaigns that were supposedly done for him, but he disavows them. A presentation, dozens or perhaps hundreds of interviews with the media in which he repeats over and over again stories that simply never happened. So I thought, just to get us started today, we might look at... See, the thing about Davidian is that the Electronic Intifada livestream, they fucking picked it. They called it over a year ago. They pointed out this guy was just obviously full of shit. Because his stories, as you will see in a second, are just like, they're action hero shit. I mean, just totally fucking implausible, even before you get into the inconsistencies and stuff. So I thought we would just look, they clipped a segment together on like their debunking of this guy, and I thought we might just kick it off with that. And remember, this guy was interviewed totally uncritically by Sheryl Sandberg in the documentary that Ethan Klein has used in order to, essentially attack Hassan and justify the genocide that he's totally not a supporter of. So we're going to have just a quick look at that. I'm going to drop the link in chat as well. Here we go. I mean, you have to see this fucking guy.
This is a clip of a man called Rami Davidian, who claims to have single-handedly rescued hundreds of people from that supernova rave.
Yeah, I mean, and see, already that should put anyone on notice that something can't add up. Because how the hell was he doing hundreds of people? What the fuck was he driving? What, did he have a bus?
On October 7th.
Here we go. I mean, content warning, he describes having completely fabricated some really really fucked up stuff. And just look at fucking Sheryl Sandberg, who must know that none of this makes sense.
הרגליים שלהם היו פתוחות.
I mean,
מי שרואה זה יודע שהתעללו בבנות.
Hey, everyone who sees this, this being like there's some shit that was tied to a tree.
מישהו הפשיט אותם, מישהו אנס אותם. החדירו לעברים הפנימיים שלהם כל מיני דברים. כמו קרשים, כמו ברזלים.
I mean, there's literally no evidence ever came out of any of that stuff.
מעל 30 בנות נרצחו ונאנסו. כי צריך.
Over 30, and what's interesting about that is over 30 and yet not one identified.
לסגור את הרגליים, לחסות את הגופות שלהם. שאף אחד לא יראה מה שאני ראיתי. אף אחד. אף אחד לא יכול לראות דברים כאלה.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is one of the sort of key witnesses that is used to prove a lot of this, like, atrocity propaganda. Which is why...
It's okay. I don't even know what to say about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, just to summarize for those who are listening and couldn't read the subtitles. So, Rami Davidian is standing in the forest where this supernova rave took place, and he claims that he saw women...
And here's the other thing. The guy claims to have rescued hundreds of people, and yet the only person you ever hear telling anyone about it is him.
Tied to trees, who had been raped, who had been burned, who who had had objects like iron rods and wooden boards inserted into their private parts. And then he says that, no one else was around, according to him. It was just him. And then he says what he did is that if their legs, I'm sorry about how graphic this is, but if their legs were spread, he closed their legs. He covered everything up, and he said so no one else could see. So no one else,
completely destroying the evidence very conveniently.
Could see. So what's interesting about that is if we are to believe what he's saying, then he is admitting that he actually tampered with a major crime scene in order to destroy the evidence of the things he says he saw, so that no one else could ever see them. And
yes. This is the guy. This is from a year ago. This is May 1st, 2024 that this aired. I mean, this guy is so obviously full of shit.
Indeed, because Rami Davidian is a huge liar.
I know you have more to say about him, Rami Davidian, and some of these other characters that we just saw in that in those clips. But let's start with those claims themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if you take somebody who actually can claim to have rescued hundreds of people. I can think, say, Oskar Schindler, for example. We do not know about Oskar Schindler from Oskar Schindler. We know about Oskar Schindler from the people he saved, because they came forward and said, this guy actually did us a real solid, got us out of a dangerous situation, saved our lives. This guy saves hundreds of people, using, I don't know what fucking vehicle, or did he just, piggyback them, and they were just an extremely tall piggyback tower or something like that? And the only reason we know about any of it is that he makes sure to tell us.
Why do you think they are not credible?
Right. First, let's go back to that UN report again by Pramila Patten, the UN Secretary General's special representative on sexual violence.
I hope they did not clip out the bit where he tells his fucking hero story, because that thing is wild, and they point out then that he told a completely different version to humans of Tel Aviv before this thing was filmed.
And here's what it says about the claims about objects being inserted into people's private parts. This is paragraph 65 of the report, which actually rejects a number of the most prominent Israeli atrocity claims about October 7th. But look at that last sentence. It says, quote, allegations of objects found inserted in female genital organs also could not be verified by the mission team due in large part to the limited availability and low quality of imagery.
Which they don't remark on this. I've watched this a few times as I'm doing the research for this piece that I'm working on. But the fact that there's limited availability and low quality of imagery is telling too. Because if there was actually evidence of it, you would not have low quality imagery. You could, you'd have them in the morgue or whatever, and you would take all the pictures you wanted using high quality cameras. So limited availability and low quality is kind of a red flag.
And then this is paragraph 47 of the same UN report, which addresses the claims about the positions in which bodies were allegedly observed. It points to, quote, erroneous interpretations of the state of bodies by some volunteer first responders without relevant qualifications and expertise. Some examples include mistaking post-mortem pugilistic posturing, a boxer-like body posture with flexed elbows, clenched fists, spread legs, and flexed knees.
And when you read this, the thing is, literally, when you listen to the people who, are often, that are, the key witnesses, in fact, the only ones who say, any of the really grotesque shit happened, it's all based on complete amateurs with no training saying, well, this is the position in which we found this body in this scene where all sorts of shit was constantly going on, and there's no way to know if this is a new position or whether this is the position they would have been found in if you'd been there immediately after.
Due to burn damage as indicative of sexual violence, misinterpreting anal dilation due to post-mortem changes as indicative of anal penetration, and mischaracterizing grazing gunshot wounds to genitalia as targeted genital mutilation using knives.
Yeah.
End quote.
You also said you wanted to talk more about Rami Davidian, the man.
Okay, here we go. This is the stuff
we saw just a few minutes ago.
Like, I mean, what I'm pointing out here, apart from everything, just how full of shit this guy is, and how any like claim of atrocities that relies on this guy's testimony is immediately suspect as fuck. But the thing is, like, we're here, like, Channel 13 in Israel is just now getting around to this, and they still won't air it, because apparently, like, when Drucker announced that this was coming out, that this guy was so full of shit, there was a huge amount of backlash from the Israeli public saying, no, it's too soon. It's too soon. This is not the time to expose this guy as a liar.
Who claimed to see women tied to trees and various objects inserted into them.
Yes. Interestingly, Rami Davidian has already told his story, or rather stories, since the versions seem to change constantly. And here he is, for example, featured on a website called Humans of Tel Aviv, giving his account of October 7th. He is identified not as a first responder like in the Sandberg film, but as a farmer from Moshav Patish, a Zionist colonial settlement a few miles east of the boundary.
So this is the first version.
In that account,
and here's the thing about this. I mean, let's assume, one obvious, like, objection somebody could raise is, he says that he did a whole lot of stuff that day. So why couldn't he be describing two separate incidents? Okay, but here's the problem with that. Like, first of all, two separate incidents that are so similar, and with all these fucking heroic exploits, and in both cases he's supposed to have encountered armed Palestinian fighters, you know, all of whom would have had AKs, and somehow nobody shot at him, nobody, like, decided to just grab him, and, like, how did he have time for it when he was busy rescuing millions of people?
He claims that he helped rescue hundreds of people from the supernova raid, including one young woman in particular, and this is what he's quoted as saying. I got a location from Rotem, one of the girls who escaped the party, and she texted me that she was hiding behind a tree. I drove to her location, honking my car so she could hear me approaching her. When I got to her location, I saw she was surrounded by 5 terrorists.
Wait, so he was honking his car so she would know, but somehow these 5 fighters didn't hear him coming. Didn't take an interest in who the fuck's coming here, like, honking the horn like that. Yeah, exactly. That was an example. It was just because of, like, the state of bodies and things. When, like,
I didn't flinch
lots of ways
and shouted at them in Arabic, Ahlan, my name is Abu Rami, I'm Muslim, and it's better that you give the girl to me and escape from here as fast as you can, because the whole area is full of armed security forces. I wasn't afraid, it was pure instinct.
Yeah, I mean, so he claims, this is the, like, I guess Harrison Ford version of the story, where all he does is he just outwits these guys. He's like, okay, I'm going to use my super Arabic knowledge. He misspelled Ahlan. There isn't a second A. There aren't 3 A's in Ahlan. It's Ahlan. Not Ahlan.
Luckily, they thought I was a Bedouin, and because they were already on the run, they gave me the girl to me and ran off.
Wait, so they were already on the run, but they were surrounding her? Why were they on the run? That's a weird way to be on the run.
End quote. Now, I found that Davidian has told this story, this version of the rescue, countless times in interviews. But he also gave his account in a video posted on the YouTube channel of the World Mizrahi Organization in December. It's a 5-minute video, but we're just going to watch a short clip where he tells the tale of his heroic rescue of that woman.
Here we go.
הם אמרו לי שחברה שלהם תקועה תחת איזשהו ואדי באיזשהו מקום, ולא היה קליטה, היה קשה מאוד להגיע אליה. והיא בוכה, מתחננת שאני אציל אותה. ואז אמרתי, טוב, אני מתחיל לצפצף עם האוטו, ככל כשאת שומעת שזה מתגבר, את מכוונת אותי כן.
Okay, once again, with the honking, so, like...
כן, כן, הצלחתי להגיע אליה. התחלתי לרוץ, ראיתי אותה עם 5 או 6 גברים. הסתכלתי צדדים, ראיתי נשקים. ואז הבנתי שהם מחבלים.
So, it's okay, these bunch of armed guys are right there. And they've taken no interest in who's this honking like this.
לא יודע אם הבאתי את הכוחות. מצאתי שטוצר של ממטרה, רק
He took a length of pipe.
חקלאי יודע מה זה שטוצר. הצלחתי להשכיב אותם ברצפה, הכנסתי אותם.
All, knock them, plural, remember. It's an entire, like, fucking platoon that he has knocked over. Like, none of them thought, you know, wait a second, maybe we could just shoot this guy? Like, because you fucking know this guy, if he had any wounds to show for it, he would be showcasing it.
לאוטו, אתם הבאתי אותה אליי הביתה, ועוד פעם חזרתי לשטח. זה נז, האישה הזו ניצלה.
I don't want that merit. Yeah, he doesn't want the merit. As you will find out, Rami wants to get paid.
אני לא צריך את הזכות הזאת. לא עשיתי את זה בזכות.
I didn't do it for the merit. I mean, that is true, actually, because he didn't do it.
As you can see there, Rami Davidian is really good at turning on the waterwork.
See, he knows, that's because he's a farmer and he knows how to use pipes.
In front of the camera. Yeah. But now I'm going to read the English subtitles again for those who are listening rather than watching. He says, in one case, I rescued several girls. They told me their friend was stuck in a wadi in the middle of nowhere. There was no cell phone reception. It was very difficult to reach her. And she cried, begging me to save her. Then I said, fine, I'll start honking with the car, and the louder it gets, you direct me. Yes, yes, yes. I managed to reach her. I started running. I saw her with 5 or 6 men. I looked to the sides. I saw weapons. Then I realized they were terrorists.
How, okay.
I don't know where I got the strength from. I found a pipe of a sprinkler. Only a farmer knows what that is. I managed to knock them to the ground. I put her in the car, brought her to my house, and once again returned to the area. It's a miracle that this woman was saved. I don't want that merit. I don't ever want that merit. I didn't do it for the merit. End quote.
Like...
So as you can see there, he's
full of shit.
What?
Yeah, unscathed, and you know, despite being massively outnumbered, they didn't like drag his ass just back to Gaza or something. I mean, it's like given the amount of evil that has been committed based on bullshit like this, I mean, if it weren't for that. If it were just that this guy was just, you know, some regular-ass grifter and it wasn't, you know, against the background of a genocide, it would just be pure fucking comedy.
You immediately notice there is that these accounts...
make no fucking sense.
...are very different. In the first one, he somehow scares off the 5 armed terrorists who've supposedly come to kill everyone in sight just by scolding them in Arabic. He doesn't say anything about fighting them off with a pipe. He just managed to either charm them or scare them or convince them by pretending to be a Muslim. He is in fact Jewish, but he says he pretended to be a Muslim.
And his Arabic, I mean, if the spelling in that account is down to him, it is not ahlan. Like, if you don't know that it's ahlan, then there's no way that your Arabic would be good enough to pull off a fucking op like that.
Second story, he heroically knocks 5 armed terrorists, as he calls them, to the ground with nothing but a piece of pipe. I mean, what do you think? How credible is that?
He's watched a lot of movies.
Right.
Yeah, and again, like fucking Sheryl Sandberg put this in there, you know, totally uncritically. So, like, either she did not bother to look into this guy, but then, I mean, she couldn't have not looked into this guy, but she had to find this guy somewhere. And if you look this guy up, which, you know, if anyone watching this at any point on the VOD and chat, whatever, doubts this for a minute, just look his name up, Rami Davidian, and you will find all of this shit. All of it. So there's no way that Sheryl Sandberg was not well aware of just how completely full of shit this guy was.
Like
Rami
a script
Bullshitian.
from a superhero movie.
Yeah.
So he's clearly not a very credible witness. And it's also notable that in the vast majority of his interviews that I saw, Davidian makes no claims whatsoever about seeing any signs of sexual violence. The earliest instance I could find of Davidian claiming to have seen anything related to sexual violence, the kind of things he describes to Sheryl Sandberg, date from early February. 4 months.
Now, this is something that actually comes up with other, like, alleged witnesses as well. Like, they've been interviewed 3 or 4 times and nothing, and there's nothing that is at all relevant to that. And then around the time that, like, the LA Times issued a correction on their story about it, saying actually they'd found it was unsubstantiated, all of a sudden you see these people changing their stories, and it turns out all of them saw fucking SA.
After October 7th, in a report from the Association of Rape Crisis Centers in Israel, an organization that has played a key role in trying to launder the mass rape hoax. But the last thing I'll say about Rami Davidian is that even if he can't keep his stories straight, he does seem to be enjoying the limelight. He's become a sort of a minor celebrity in Israel.
Yeah.
Doing speaking events like this one in April, where for the price of 60 shekels, that's about $15, you can go and listen to him tell his tales of heroism.
Like, yeah, not that he does it for the merit, though. He doesn't want that merit. He wants money.
And he's even gone on a speaking tour of Italy recently.
Right, except he doesn't want any merit, as he says.
No, a very, very modest.
No, he
modest
just wants
character.
to get paid. Okay, I just thought I would just share that as an update. Yeah, so this is the quality of documentary that Ethan Klein is using to, like, to browbeat fucking Hassan and the likes with and justify a literal fucking genocide. And, you know, not that I want the merit, but I just broke the record for the longest filibuster. Because it turns out you don't have to actually do a filibuster at all in order to break that record, according to the media now. Haven't looked at
Cory
Bush in a
Booker
bit.
actually did it. Here's a couple snippets.
Behold. With the snippet he picks up is him literally honoring the IDF ghouls committing the genocide.
Or here I am. And so I confess that I have been imperfect. I confess that I've been inadequate to the moment.
I mean, and still are. Like, remember, I mean, this is what gets me about this. What gets me about this is if he'd waited like a couple of minutes and let the next order of business be called up, he could have actually blocked something with this performance. He actually went to a lot of trouble in order to ensure that this would actually benefit nobody except his own profile.
Confess that the Democratic Party has made terrible mistakes.
I mean, and this isn't exactly... I mean, speaking of guys who like the limelight, when I first heard of Cory Booker, he was, I think, governor in Maryland, some East Coast state. And the thing was, he was, like, in the news because in the middle of a big snowstorm, he was out there bringing, like, baby food and stuff to people. And it just happened that, like, the day before, he had cut SNAP. He'd cut, like, food stamps and shit to people, and now he's out there, like, in front of a bunch of cameras delivering supplies to people in the middle of a blizzard.
That have given lane to this demagogue.
Armhole too low.
I confess we all must look in the mirror and say we will do better. And it's not just defining ourselves what we're against. We, the next generation...
I mean, what is staggering about this to me, like... it is staggering that he went to this much trouble to do absolutely nothing for us. Like, this stopped nothing. And the minute it was over, he and all the rest of the Democrats granted unanimous consent to just move on for another Trump nominee. If he had just waited until that got called up, he could have filibustered an actual thing. This was not a filibuster. It did nothing.
As the baby boomers are leaving the stage, the last baby boomer president, we have to say that we're going to redeem the dream. We're going to dream America anew. We're going to start talking about bold things that don't divide.
It's a platitudes. Redeem the dream. Oh, Jesus.
That unite people. Bold things that excite the moral imagination of a country to do better, to go higher, to call us together. This is the time where...
Yeah, as somebody in the chat is pointing out that this guy is a major recipient of AIPAC money.
New leaders in our country must emerge. I'm not talking about senators, I'm talking about citizens.
Just gotta say, he's holding it pretty goddamn well for someone who's been talking for 25 hours.
Except, he's been talking for 25 hours. But the whole point of a filibuster, the whole fucking point of a filibuster is that you actually block something. And he specifically timed this so it would be blocking nothing. Like, he could have blocked a nominee, and then he went on and he voted for more weapons for Israel.
That's pretty damn impressive. Just like on a constitutional level.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will say that, although it seems to me a fair number of streamers have talked for longer. Sitting down, admittedly, having to do it standing is, I mean, challenging.
Senator Booker says he didn't eat for days, stopped hydrating before history-making speech.
So that he wouldn't have to piss.
I'm surprised he didn't pass out. He's got to be pretty physically healthy to do this, you know? And
yeah.
Unlike Thurman, you know, who had to, he got a 3-hour in break and then he pissed in a cloak closet or whatever. He just stood there, you know? It's very, very, very impressive. Impressive.
Hello.
Pygmy hippo.
Like, solely in the sense that, yeah, I mean, an impressive thing for somebody physically to manage to do, yes. But, like, also impressive in the sense that he made sure that this would not improve anything.
Don't see what that has to do with what I'm talking about, but you know. He's also vegan. I did not know that he was vegan.
God,
Booker
Vosh
saved
is
a
a
woman
cheap
from a
date.
fire in 2012. Oh, that's pretty cool. He rushed inside the 2-story building looking
I would love to know if this is actually true.
for residents.
Because the thing is, I mean, again, he has done stunts before.
With his 3-man security detail in tow. As the mayor. So he was just walking around.
He was mayor, not governor, when he was cutting snap.
After getting an interview as the mayor, and he and his security detail just ran into a burning building? All right, okay.
Is that in fact what happened, though? I mean...
Okay. Jesus, all right, okay. All right. Not cynical enough to not let something like that stand, you know?
I mean, you ought to be cynical enough to look to see if that is, if that's confirmed by subsequent reporting. Like, I mean, because it isn't exactly like you can count on the media not to notice an absolutely obvious bullshit story.
And now it's our generation. We have to redeem the dream. We have to excite people again. He, in the highest office of our land, wants to divide us against ourselves, wants to make us afraid, wants to...
Yeah, I mean, you're fucking committing genocide, though. Yeah, like you meant 25 hours, and the only thing he had to say about Gaza was to praise the people murdering Gaza.
To make us fear so much that we're willing to violate people's fundamental rights.
I wonder if the people in Gaza, I wonder if the Palestinians have, like, fundamental rights, too. That maybe got violated somehow by, like, killing hundreds of thousands of them.
We're willing to go after the speech on college campuses. We're willing to have to...
Where was this, like, last year? Because they were already going after the speech on college campuses. Nobody, fucking Booker certainly was not defending those campus protests against all the accusations that were used to justify level of police violence against campus protests that we just have not actually seen before that in decades.
To go after law firms, go after the freedom of the press. Don't let him do that. Don't become like him. Be an American that says, I look to the future and I'm excited. Yes, things are tough right now. They're hard.
Like, how can you look to the future and be, like, excited in what sense? Like, not good excited, certainly. I mean, it looks pretty fucking bad, actually.
They're scary, they're hurting, but we can overcome this. Our American history, if it's nothing else, American history, if it's nothing else, it is a perpetual testimony to the achievement of impossible things against impossible odds.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The problem here is I have just received a certain amount of criticism from somebody not in chat, and I just want to respond to it. Because here's the thing. I mean, apart from his background, apart from the fact that he is very much complicit in genocide and an enthusiastic supporter of it, this whole thing was bullshit. It was a stunt. It was not a filibuster. It was specifically timed to avoid blocking anything to do with, like, the Republican agenda. It could have been done a little bit later and it would have actually gotten in the way of something. He made sure it didn't. The only people who are inconvenienced by this are the aides and the security people who had to stay after hours.
We are a nation that is great not because of the people that are trying to whitewash our history. To remove
well, what about this part of our history?
Great people, Native Americans, black people, and women from our military websites. I don't want a Disneyfication of our history.
Well, I mean, I think you might prefer a Disneyfication of this history when we get to your role in it, though. Because, like, I don't see him looking good in a non-Disneyfied version. Is this just going to be him watching this thing?
My colleagues, of when the
is he
man
going to be saying anything?
Savagely drew...
Because he says, we need more of this. And it's like, what we needed was, like, maybe actually to have that happen at, you know, when it would have done something, when it would have achieved something. Like, I was impressed by this until I found out it was actually, it didn't block anything. It was already the business was done for the day. And that is about all. I'm going to switch over because Michael Rappaport had a fucking birthday.
I am Rappaport Podcast.
Draymond Green, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know if you have some sort of insecurity.
I mean, not that Michael Rappaport would have any kind of understanding of insecurity.
Remember when Draymond Green sent out the Snapchat with the penis pic, the dick pic?
What the hell is Draymond Green?
His two-toned dick. This is when he first got in the league, and that's the...
I mean, I'm looking at a one-tone dick pic right
fine.
now.
He's a young guy. He make mistakes. He sent it on Snapchat. And ever since you sent out that dick pic so long ago, Draymond Green, you've been a menace. And I don't know if it's because you have a two-toned dick or you...
Like, who cares? Okay.
It's not as like I'm a bigger fan of the Golden State Warriors as I am of the Knicks, but I do love the Golden State Warriors, and I've had a great time rooting for the Golden State Warriors. And to keep myself in the game. Because when you try to hurt players...
like I'm going to skip through this a little bit because I don't really give a shit about him talking about basketball.
A couple of weeks ago, that Karl Anthony Towns, Big Bodega, sat out the game when the Golden State Warriors balls. You are the media now. You're like, yo, we're the media. Yes, you're the media. You've become the same guy that is criticizing Stephen A. Smith for what happened with LeBron. How much of LeBron James you carte blanche to be a chump? Your championships don't give you carte blanche.
Okay.
Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, he had pictures of, like, Mahmoud Khalil on this and various other people on the thumbnail, so I thought he was going to be talking about something other than the basketball.
Tracy Morgan is in good health. Tracy Morgan posted something that he's fine, so now we have to make jokes But it was crazy to see that during the Miami Heat New York Knicks game. While I was throwing up, I was like, I know this is going to wind up on ESPN top 10 plays. I know it's going to... and a damp pre-spring day and beat George the Messiah 11-0. 11-0. George the Messiah.
Okay, it's all him talking about fucking basketball. Fuck that. Moving on.
One of the interesting characters from
This is Noah Sampson, retract or lawyer up.
last episodes was Lion with a mask. Or with a mic, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, with a mic.
We are... Let the games begin.
Let the games begin.
Let the chess pieces are laid on the board. The players are on the stage.
And he's like scholars mating himself.
It's showtime.
Is it a game or a play?
It's both.
Oh god, listen to this fucking music, this build-up he's given. This is him apparently talking about the fact that he's had his lawyer send a letter to Noah Sampson demanding that he, like, retract a completely accurate statement.
The point is that it's a ready to start. The stage is set. The game is set also.
I'm the first Jew on stage.
Oh yeah, Kev says he's the first Jew on stage in Texas. What an insanely stupid... What an idiot.
Whoa.
Oh, let me see that one. Okay, we fucked with that.
Like,
That one's fucking sick.
Where is that? Is that... Okay. Not so fun. Oh, he went private? Huh, he went private on Instagram? Why? He can't stand any of this heat? No.
Well, I mean, it's actually a pretty good thing to do. It's a pretty sensible thing to do, actually, when you're being brigaded by people. Like fucking Ethan told people to SWAT him. We watched last week. Yesterweek.
The guy who went on his YouTube channel and brazenly said that I'm pro-genocide can't...
Which you are.
Handle a little fucking...
Yeah, having an asshole tell people to call the FBI on him.
Handle a few comments on Instagram? What's going on here, Noah?
Ethnic cleansing.
What is going on here, dude?
What's going on is that people don't like being harassed.
You know. Oh, man. Yeah, he's scared shitless. He is.
Well, yeah, you told people to call the fucking feds on him at a time when the feds are doing some pretty fucked up shit to anyone, like, without any real restraints. Yeah, I would be a little bit nervous too.
And, you know, I'll say this, despite all this sweeping that the entire left community has done for Noah, after...
Sweeping?
We spoke to his ex-lover, not his ex-girlfriend, but his ex-hookup partner. Noah, at least, is the only one who hasn't said anything about it and who hasn't tried to make excuses or sweep. So, I mean... But it's incredible seeing the lefts show their ass so hard. For how everybody...
That's totally whose ass is being shown.
It's just all of a sudden like, oh, so much. You'll go on the left, Haas Twitter, whatever the fuck, and this is what they're saying.
What are you talking about? What did he say? Haas? That's the left now?
Wow, Ethan, congratulations. You proved that Noah is a dude who has normal sexual relations. I'm like, okay, let's remember you said that.
Like, is he talking about as being on the left? Like
Haas Twitter. Let's just. I mean, y'all. I barely even have to do anything to expose you guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing the exposing. This is really good cope.
But now you're on a ride. Now we're on this ride together. Right? Like we're all gonna ride together now.
I mean, he is so trying to put up. I mean, okay. I thought we were talking about it's piss guy. Oh, okay. So, but he does not look like somebody who is at ease and is convinced that he's having, that he is likely to come out of this victorious. He just
This is Willy Wonka's boat ride, motherfuckers. Okay. And I'm doing.
So it's a game, a ride, and a play.
It's.
Yeah, he's mixing his metaphors a little bit heavily.
It's everything and more.
Okay. Just trying to keep up.
I'm gonna have Dan on, like tiptoes, like on his fucking knees, doing the rowing in the back.
Me?
Yeah. Willy Wonka's boat ride. You're in
Like, what the fuck is this? What, like...
back on your knees.
I see.
Wait, like, okay, so it's a chess game, but it's also a Willy Wonka boat ride. And, I mean, he's just not... he's trying to sound very confident of himself here, which he absolutely has no reason to be under the circumstances.
What are you going for?
Yeah, shoes on your knees.
Got it.
In the role of a lifetime. All right, so this is all very fun stuff here, guys. We're going to thank our sponsor, and then I'm just going to read this whole letter.
Oh, remember he was, like, attacking Ethan for, attacking Noah for being sponsored? Like, the sponsorship fits so smoothly into what he was talking about, since it was literally a media analysis tool, and he was talking about media analysis. I didn't even notice it, to be honest, but, between somebody being sponsored by a media analysis tool when they're talking about, like, seeing through propaganda that supports a genocide, and somebody taking sponsorships to support a genocide.
And you guys can see and enjoy just how screwed our dear, wonderful, brave friend, who proudly and loudly accuses people of being pro-genocide, but privates his Instagram feed.
Yeah, that's so wild. He'll accuse people who say things in support of a genocide of being pro-genocide, but when those people turn around and try to have them swatted, they decide to batten down the hatches a little bit. That is so contradictory.
When the kitchen gets too hot, and yes, now we're in a kitchen. Okay.
See, what we're supposed to get from this is he's totally confident. He's not at all nervous about this. He did not at all have a stern talking to from his lawyers about the risks of filing a bullshit defamation action.
Yeah, I think we can do it a little early. Thank you to our sponsor, Sundays for Dogs. Sundays for Dogs. Sundays for Dogs is going to revolutionize the way that you feed your dogs. I don't know if y'all have picky eaters. My dogs are extremely picky, everybody. But after that, I've got a ton of Warzone stuff that's been building up. And today, I'm just unleashing. And then I'm going to take a break. I'm going to do this in waves. So I'm going to do the Warzone today.
So he's going to do it in waves.
Take a break. We've been good. I think like last week we didn't.
Yeah, we actually had some chill episodes. It's nice.
And this is what we get, a full episode.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
It's a compromise.
Yeah, no, it's a compromise.
Is it better to put it all in one episode?
Yeah, Ethan did fuck up.
It's kind of cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah, no, I think it's totally fine.
Well, I clicked the button.
Well,
so, my attorney, my wonderful attorney, he's the guy I've been working with since the Matt Haas lawsuit that rescued me and saved me from that cursed mess.
I don't know anything about this. Is any of this familiar to you, Chad?
He's one of the most talented, intelligent, passionate dudes that I've ever known. This man cares about IP and free speech and all this.
Okay, so he's an IP lawyer, not a libel lawyer. Interesting. And he cares about free speech, but he's willing to try to intimidate Noah Samson for providing an entirely accurate analysis of Ethan Klein's output.
He's just the best. He's dedicated to it. He understands the space. I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else. And
Aldo's just a genuinely sweet guy,
Yeah.
which
Very,
I probably wouldn't say about most lawyers that I've met in my life.
you can trust him.
Yeah, no, he's you know, I've known him for a few years now, and he seems like a good man.
And he cares. That's the thing.
I trust.
Like he genuinely does, and I care about him. I think at this point I consider him a friend and
He
a family.
really is actually being. It's like it is taking him it is taking him a while to get to the point.
Member, to be honest. So Rom wanted to say this before we begin the letter. It's personal to him. He said this: "My family's history and that of countless Mizrahi Jews is not a form of Nakba denial."
Okay, so this guy is actually.
Our hearts are big enough to recognize both as tragedies. Our minds are...
Well, yeah, but that's not the point. That's not the fucking point. Like, okay, you know, his lawyer may feel that way, but what Ethan said was totally Nakba denial.
sharp enough to realize that the existence of one does not diminish the existence of the other.
Except that the way Ethan did it, it was very clearly meant to be like, yeah, but actually, like, the Nakba was nothing compared to the actually Israeli orchestrated expulsion of Jews of Arab Jews.
Our spirits are strong enough to ensure the inheritance of hatred, fear, and violence ends with us. The day will and must come when the descendants of Jacob and Ishmael free themselves from the inheritance of hatred, fear, and violence. It is on that day we shall embrace each other and recognize who...
Oh, wait, okay. I believe he was doing a very sort of biblical racism there, suggesting that the problem is that the Palestinians need to free themselves from the hatred and violence. Not that they, I mean, which in a way you could say they do, because like the occupation is just pure hatred and violence. They do need to free themselves from that.
Who we are, which is cousins, born from our shared ancestors of Abraham. Until
God, this is, okay, this is such
I
bullshit.
shall say, from the river to the sea, only peace shall set us free.
Well, okay, and who's actually preventing the peace right now, though? Like, see, now Ethan has an opportunity, actually, to show that he's not a pro-genocide YouTuber by saying that's kind of fucked up what he just said, because Israel is murdering, ever since they completely tore up the ceasefire that they took over a year to agree to, they have murdered over 1,000 people. Like, I'm not going to go into gory, horrifying detail, but they massacred a fucking ambulance crew and buried them, shot them while they were handcuffed. Is Ethan going to talk about that? Because, I mean, it seems to me that maybe the violence that the Palestinians need to free themselves from, notice he avoids even calling them Palestinians, is not even mentioned.
And that is a word from Ram, who's also a terrific, incredible writer, which is very important, by the way, if you're a lawyer. And actually, what's really interesting about this is...
what's interesting is that was just straight up Zionist propaganda. Very racist. And Ethan, who calls himself a stalwart supporter of the Palestinian cause... First of all, that's an interesting lawyer to go with, a, like, clearly hardcore Zionist lawyer. If you're a stalwart supporter of the Palestinian cause, because usually lawyers, like, hardline movement Zionist lawyers like that are not going to take your calls.
Ram has a great uncle who was, like, involved in one of these famous, or infamous, rather, pogroms. His great uncle was hanged during the ousting, and this is all public.
Okay, let's see. We are counsel for Mutahar Anas and Ethan Klein collectively. Our view of California Civil Code, first defamatory video. A false and unprivileged publication, writing, printing, picture, and... Okay. It must contain a provable falsehood. Yeah, so far this is not very impressive. I mean, this is impressive bluster. Let me put it that way.
So here's the letter we sent.
Like,
We
what is
sent
page
it to-
2? Because so far he has not... All this is doing is, like, a brief summary of the law of defamation, which somehow is not mentioning in New York Times and
Public
Sullivan.
email address, and we also FedExed it to his home address, which I'm sure he must have seen it. Like, I don't know. As a YouTuber, like, I think he must check that email address. And if not, he's gonna get a knock at the door with some FedEx, baby. Let me position this so you guys can read it.
Yeah, let's see the second page.
See.
Now, okay, Barnisim Law Firm. Ram Barnisim. Okay, I found this guy. Damn it. Ram Barnisim. So he's like Quark's brother. I'm trying to see, what have we got? Bankruptcy cases. Okay, he has written in the Southwestern Journal of International Libel and Privacy Law.
What the fuck, dude?
What happened? Oh,
no, I just looked at the screen and saw me doing a goofy face.
Like I said,
Maybe
it's
you could turn
it's
that
random.
off.
Don't ever turn it off. Dan. That's the thing. That's what makes it funny.
Are we gonna get to see page 2 of this thing where he hopefully tries to explain
When
how
there's like
any of this
another
applies to
and
Samson?
inevitably a chestnuts moment, like nobody's can be blamed for it. It just is going to happen. It's going to be natural, and we can all enjoy it guilt free. That's the beauty.
Yeah.
You know, it might be, could be any one of us.
I hope that moment never comes.
Oh, it will. Lamb.
Thank you.
Demand for correction pursuant to California Civil Code, Section 48A. Dear Mr. Sampson, we are counsel for Mudahar and Ethan, our collective clients. If you have counsel, please forward this letter to them and have them contact me about this matter. We are writing you pursuant to...
I'm going to just skip this. Okay. Whether our clients supported by material or moral assistance or otherwise, genocidal acts by Israel. Wait, okay. This is already bullshit. Like, okay, so they're using the word supported in one very specific way. See, let me read this to you. Whether our clients, i.e. Ethan Mudahar, supported by material or moral assistance or otherwise genocidal acts by Israel with the intent to destroy in whole or in part the Palestinians is subject to being proven true or false. So, okay, there's a lot going on in that sentence. And the first thing is that they leave out the most common use of the word support, namely to be in favor of.
Having, quote, specialized knowledge or expertise in the Israel-Palestine conflict due to the large volume of material you cite in the first defamatory video.
The wild thing about this is that Ethan should be thanking his lucky stars that he did not get a lawyer's letter from Hassan after that so-called content nuke, because he just lied blatantly about lots of things on there.
much of which you misrepresent. He said that. Yeah, he said he has specialized knowledge, even though...
No, he didn't say he had specialized knowledge. All he did was cite things. He cited sources. They're trying to use the fact that he cited sources against him.
Every time it comes up, he just is like, watch Bad Empanada. That's crazy, dude.
No, that isn't all he did.
Critically, you either fail to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement, or...
No, he did not fail to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement. He absolutely did not fail to disclose. The entire video is the factual basis for it.
Or you misrepresent the actual basis. For Mudahar, the first defamatory video only shows 2 very brief clips from Muda's October 21st video, entitled, Twitch is a disgustingly evil platform. See, and then it just references for the... it's a footnote. Not only did you fail to disclose the source of these clips, it is evident that you intentionally...
Well, yeah, but you haven't actually... The fact that he didn't disclose the source of the clips, assuming that's true, does not actually mean anything unless the source is somehow relevant.
He misrepresented it. In Muda's video, he explicitly states, quote, like I've said before, and I've been clipped a few times, and you know even when I stream, you know videos do get uploaded of my takes on...
This is this is the best he's got. I'm not somebody that is afraid to say that genocide is wrong. Like I'm sure Ethan Klein could say the exact same thing. That does not actually address the issue, because he said other things too. I went back and watched because I had never heard of Mudahar. I wasn't even paying attention to that bit. I think there's an actual case of genocide, and there's an actual case of attack that goes towards the Palestinian people. Like. That does not actually really... That's really just vague. I mean, is he saying... Because that sounds like there are 2 separate things that he's saying there is.
Situations that I feel I need to clarify. I am not somebody that is afraid to say that genocide is wrong. I think there's an actual case of,
and it's worth noting that Mudahar actually has a much better case. Notice, I mean, they're immediately doing that. This is what we're looking at here. I mean, because if Mudahar said that, I mean, that's at least something. That is better than anything that Ethan has said.
Aside, and there's an actual case of attack that goes towards the Palestinian people.
Like, what the fuck does that mean? I mean, that is...
Further... later in that video, and further in relation to the Twitch IP ban of Israel and Palestine, Mudahar...
Like, I mean, even this is weak sauce. Like, I mean, this is just him...
States, honestly, if you really think about it, this rule actually hurts Gazans more than it ever would hurt Israelis, because Twitch's geo-block, if it targeted that region... if they wanted to allow people to document and live stream the real atrocities that are occurring to them in that region, the Palestinians could have used that platform to showcase it themselves. It also states, or he says, Noah, you intentionally omitted portions of Muda's video that demonstrate he does not support the take of Asmongold on Palestinians.
Except that, I mean, there were bits of that he... The thing is that the bits that are being omitted in this letter are bits that actually do kind of strongly suggest that he that...
Immediately before the clip you used in the defamation video, Muda stated, so obviously Asmongold walked back his statement back and apologized. He said, my bad, and of course nobody deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. So in this situation, one could, if they were being charitable...
Yeah, this is piss weak, actually. You're gonna base a defamation case on this?
Could say that Asmongold was probably referring to the extremists in the Islamic religion.
I mean, this is him making excuses for Asmongold. That does not help.
On people in the LGBTQ camp. Lastly, Muda's initial reaction to Asmongold's take on Palestine is easy to find on YouTube. Before Muda even watches the clip, he states, "This is going to be bad." Immediately after watching the clip, Muda expresses his shock at Asmongold's take and states, quote, "I don't think anybody should sit here and be like, I guess a whole group of people deserve to be genocided." This is a clear and unequivocal condemnation of that.
Okay, so still waiting to get to the Ethan part, because the Ethan part is like, Ethan has never said anything anywhere near as potentially exculpatory as what Mudahar clearly said.
Muda stated in his video, "The first defamatory statement is actionable assertion of fact that was made with the knowledge that it was false." So that's basic.
Yeah, and the way he's saying that, that is specifically meant to address Sullivan.
That's Muda.
Because the point of Sullivan is a public figure, and really Ethan and Mudahar are public figures, can only actually sue for defamation in a case where they can prove that somebody knew that something was false or exercised, engaged in reckless disregard towards the truth of the statement. So that's what they're trying to argue.
His is just completely open and shut.
No, it isn't. I mean, yeah, that's so cute, though. I mean, he looks at the lawyer's letter. He's like, wow, this is open and shut. Yeah, but do you understand, Ethan, that when you do these things, there are more lawyers. And they also make arguments. And their arguments, if they're any good at all, will also feel very open and shut.
Noah cites in the video, Ram said that this statement, "From the river to the sea, only peace shall set us free," is attributed to Ahmed Fouad al-Khatib, a Palestinian actor.
Ahmed Fouad al-Khatib, what's his deal? Yeah, okay, so let's see. Yeah, he publishes in far-right Zionist rags, like the Jewish Chronicle, for example, the Times of Israel, Winep 2. That is like another major like pro-Israel lobby group. So like he's not just a Palestinian. He is a Palestinian who gets paid to be the token Palestinian.
Activist. He wanted to credit the author of that statement.
I'm glad he did. I'm glad that he debited the author of that statement, because that is some bullshit.
He put Mudahar, a practicing Muslim, in the fucking thumbnail of his video.
Yes, based on fucked up things that he said that really do look like supporting...
And said he supports genocide. A statement that has had far-reaching implications for his life as a practicing and active member of his Muslim community. That some white fucking white bread bitch boy wants to fucking play white savior. You know what I mean? And target Mudahar for being pro-genocide is the most pathetic, backward bullshit ever.
I mean, except that if you actually look at the remarks by Mudahar that he's responding, that he specifically is quoting, Mudahar has a case to answer.
It's so funny that the leftists are like, we don't want to listen. We don't listen to. We prioritize the voice of minorities, right, or those who are on the receiving end. But Noah Samson said that Mudahar is fucking pro-genocide. Everybody clap. Unfortunately for Noah, the video that he cites, Mudahar literally contradicts his claims.
Yeah, like, the thing is, this is such bullshit, because the problem, what they're trying to do is say that you can't support a genocide if you ever thought genocide was wrong. But the thing is, one of the ways to support a genocide is to pretend what isn't happening, is to engage in denial.
So he either didn't watch the entire video, which would constitute willful abandonment of the truth, or he did watch the whole video and knowingly lied and made malicious lies. So either way, And again, I don't think they understand, like...
No, I mean, and notice, okay, but we haven't gotten to Ethan yet. And the thing is, when you get to Ethan, it becomes much harder, because clearly Mudahar has said some things that can be interpreted in both ways. Ethan has not. Ethan has absolutely not.
Saying that someone's pro-genocide is not something to play with. Like, people know, like, you can't just be like, oh, this guy's a pedo. Like, you can't just, like, say that. Because you'd be like, oh, I'm like, genocide and fun. It's just like a, oh, yeah, no, they're pro-genocide. Oh, this guy disagrees with me. He's pro-genocide.
Well, I mean, when you're talking about somebody who disagrees with whether a genocide should be happening, it's somebody who is, like, spreading propaganda that is used to justify a genocide.
That's not how this works. And Muda's case is so open and closed, man.
Yeah. I mean, wait till we get to yours, Ethan. I'm looking forward to it, because it really, it is open and closed.
And it's just fucking, it's actually laughable. It's actually laughable. It is, in my opinion, that Mudahar takes aim at Hassan in this video for platforming the Houthi terrorist kid. And he makes fun of him for comparing him to Anne Frank and all this types of shit. And once again, what actually makes you pro-genocide is criticizing Hassan.
Well, no, I mean, it is actually smearing somebody who was participating in the totally legal effort to sanction Israel under the Genocide Convention.
That continues to be the common thread in this whole thing. But we'll see how that does for them. I mean, he enjoyed the stage. Noah, I hope you've enjoyed the attention and the accolades and all the praise.
Wait, Ethan, but isn't there a section on you? Are you feeling that it isn't as favorable? Because it isn't.
Because reality is coming, my friend. And even in California, with the strictest defamation, with the most protection for free speech against defamation lawsuits, even here, this is defamation, my friend. And like you said...
Well, then you should be really worried about, like, your fucking content nuke about Hassan, because that was definitely defamation. There were some definite lies in it.
Look forward to having so much fun with it. Now, moving on to my part. This gets, let me see here. Here, as for Ethan, you either failed to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement.
Well, no, he didn't. Again, he made a 30-minute video, actually longer than that, largely dedicated to the factual basis for the first not actually defamatory statement.
Or, when you did disclose the factual basis, you either misrepresent the facts or rely on George Angelos Janitis. His last name sounds like an STD. You've got Janitis? Holy shit, bro. Are you even allowed to travel with that kind of disease? George Janitis? What a dumbass loser. A source, George Janitis.
Yeah, the thing is, there's highly biased, and that doesn't mean that it's strictly inaccurate. If you're relying on the source, but what the source hands you is stuff you can verify for yourself, the fact that you got it from a source who is biased does not in itself mean that you can't rely on the stuff you verified for yourself.
Angelos Janitis, a source known to be highly biased against Ethan with a history of harassing, doxing, and making false statements about others.
Notice about others, not about Ethan. He does not say a history of making false statements about Ethan. And if he could actually say that, you can be fairly certain he would say that.
Specifically, those statements are following. The second defamatory...
I mean, okay, so what he calls the second defamatory statement is, in the content you can find just about every type of what we just looked at in terms of manufacturing consent. Ethan spreads atrocity propaganda. Factually true. He shares the Hamas mass rapes hoax. Absolutely true. The same hoax that was used by the Western media, the US government, and the Israeli government to justify genocide. Like, that isn't a defamatory statement, it is an accurate statement of fact. He did those things. He did not... notice one thing that you should notice here. He does not actually say here whether Ethan did or did not know in his heart of hearts that he was spreading a hoax. Because it doesn't fucking matter. He just, and for something to be propaganda does not require you to know it was false. It doesn't even require it to be false. It just means that it is being spread in order to promote a certain agenda.
Statement. In Content Nuke, you find just about every type of what we just looked at in terms of manufacturing consent. Ethan spreads atrocity propaganda. He shares the Hamas rape hoax, the same hoax that was used by Western media, the U.S. government, and the Israeli government to justify genocide.
Like, I mean, this is the factual basis. What he's listing here is the factual basis for saying that he is acting supportive in a way that supports the genocide.
This is the second statement Noah said. The third one is,
Ethan spreads overt misinformation. That's just true. Just straight up lies about Hezbollah or, Ansar Allah in order to delegitimize the struggle against Israel's genocide. He cites baseless claims for Saudi state propaganda to attack the Houthis. He also cites a documentary about Ansar Allah, which he uses proof as the claim that they brought back slavery when the document wasn't even about the Houthis. It was about the Yemeni government before the takeover. So, like, okay, if any of that is not true, then it should be very easy.
Ethan spreads overt misinformation. He straight up lies about Hezbollah and the Houthis in order to delegitimize their struggle against the Israeli genocide. He cites baseless claims from Saudi state propaganda outlets to attack the Houthis. He also cites a documentary about the Houthis, which he uses...
It's interesting that he refuses to say their actual name. Their actual name is Ansar Allah.
As proof of the claim that they brought back slavery when the documentary wasn't even about the Houthis. It was about the Yemeni government before the Houthi takeover. What I find so interesting about this is, like, you're really going to go on record and say, like, you're going to offend the Houthis for being, like, I guess, anti-slavery?
Oh, no, what he did was point out that you were using propaganda in order to make false claims. And it's really interesting that somebody would... Now, why do you give a shit... Why does Ethan give a shit about who runs Yemen? Like, he was not previously known to be particularly interested in who runs Yemen. So why is it coming up now? It's coming up now because Yemen is sanctioning Israeli shipping in order to impose a price tag on the genocide. I mean, like, what he's doing here, and this is a, like, very standard kind of lawyer argument when they don't have a case, is to act as if every single thing is in a vacuum. Like, it's the first defamatory statement, the second defamatory statement, the fifth defamatory statement. All of these things, like the things that he lists as the second through fifth defamatory statement, are the factual basis for making the overall statement that Ethan is acting in a way that supports a genocide. And he's just trying to pretend that these things are all in a vacuum.
Like, the Houthis have slaves. Why are you erring on the side of the slaver?
Well, the point here is that the documentary you used did not say that.
Okay, they might have slaves, but let's err on
That's not what he said. Like, okay, see, Ethan, just for the record, what you're doing now is defamatory.
Side of the slave owners on this one.
That's not what he did, though, Ethan. Like, you just fucking read it. What he said was the documentary that makes the claim that Ethan used to claim that, that Ansar Allah brought back slavery. It was not even a documentary about the Ansar Allah movement. It was about the dictatorship that ran Yemen before they took over. Like, he's not even addressing the thing, and he knows exactly what it said because he just read it.
To own the libs. Ironically, they are also doing the own the libs thing. It's funny. Everybody's trying to own the libs.
Well, I mean, let's face it, honestly, I don't even want to borrow the libs.
The fourth defamatory statement. He spreads long debunked Nakba denial talking points.
But he does. He absolutely does. And the fact that that this lawyer, this very clearly extremely Zionist lawyer, pretends that they aren't Nakba denial does not change the fact that the whole way that Ethan spread that shit was in a way to trivialize the Nakba.
talking points that have been used for decades to legitimize Israelis' colonization of Palestine. Ethan cites sources that contradict his own claims directly. Such
I mean, this isn't, I mean, it's defamatory in the sense that it doesn't make him look good, but it's not defamatory in the sense that it's false.
as the UN report he claims proves the Hamas mass rape allegations, which the report itself denies.
Yeah, if you read the fucking report, it does actually. If you read the report, every time they talk about that, they use the word information. The reason they use the word information is because all they had to go on was what the Israeli government told them. When you actually read the report and they assess what little evidence they were able to actually look at directly, they say, yeah, they can't find anything to support it.
The sixth defamatory statement, he spends 20 minutes in the video smearing a 19-year-old survivor of a U.S.-backed Saudi genocide in Yemen as a terrorist with zero credible evidence.
Yeah, I mean, also very true. Like, I mean, you did that thing. You're kind of proud of that thing, Ethan. The fact that you don't like it being pointed out that this guy is a survivor of a genocidal onslaught by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia against his country does not actually change the fact that he is. I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, you'd feel kind of shitty having it pointed out that that's what you were doing, but it is what you literally did. Further, it is clear you knew that Ethan did not support genocide in Gaza because you watched or claimed to watch content nude Hassan Piker. I mean, that is a wild statement because I didn't know shit about Ethan Klein. I hadn't heard of this jabroni, really, other than, like, people in chat were like, you gotta look at Ethan Klein. And then I watched that content nuke, and it's like, it's all the fucking genocidal propaganda over and over. It's just a constant drumbeat of the shit. In the nuke, Ethan expresses his repeated condemnation of Israel's treatment of Palestinians. In the 17 minutes to 18 minutes. So in there's a 1 minute period where he does the thing where it's like, yeah, obviously it's not great what Israel's doing to the Palestinians, but here's some propaganda about why you should be okay with it.
He claims. So these are the.
Hang on. I wanted to see the rest of that.
In Yemen as a terrorist with zero credible evidence, he claims. So these are the defamatory statements he...
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting that he does not even attempt to seriously refute any of them. Like, there's no attempt to seriously refute it. If you look at the Mudahar part, he makes some effort to actually say, to make a case that he got Mudahar wrong. When it comes to Ethan, he just lists the statements and says, yeah, this isn't true. And if you look at this video that he made where he spreads all sorts of pro-genocide propaganda, it's proof that he doesn't support the genocide because, look, here he is doing 2 hours of propaganda of it. Propaganda that is designed to justify it.
Said about me, and it's just a party, right? It's just so much fun here. We're having so much fun here, aren't we, Noah? Just like you promised. Further,
your desire to falsely paint Ethan as supporting genocide in Gaza is emphasized by the end of the first defamatory bit. Like, I think many of you can probably also help out with that. Most of you have smartphones and cameras and TikTok, so go ahead, start posting about it, spread the word. Aside from being a morally good thing to do, it's also becoming sustainable. It's all algorithmically viable. The Ethan Klein crash out industrial complex is booming. None of this actually contradicts that Ethan Klein supports genocide or suggests that Noah Samson believes otherwise. It's just he's saying that that Ethan Klein is having a fucking meltdown.
It is clear you knew that Ethan did not support genocide in Gaza because you watched, or claimed to watch, content nuke Hassan Piker.
Yeah, I mean, look at the citation for the proof that he does not support genocide. The nuke minute 17 minutes and 6 seconds to 18 minutes and 1 second. That's not even 1 minute. How long was the fucking content nuke? Let me just see. Hassan Piker content nuke. How long was that thing?
I'm saying I am.
1 hour, 42 minutes, and 5 seconds is the length of the video he's talking about. And he's saying that the proof, the absolute unrefutable proof that Ethan does not support the genocide, despite all the pro-genocidal talking points he was laundering, is completely contained in a 55-second portion of a nearly 2-hour video. That is fucking wild.
In the nuke, Ethan expresses his repeated condemnation of Israelis' treatment of Palestinians.
Repeated. I mean, then why is it that you've only got the one citation to a 55-second thing in an hour and 45-minute fucking video?
This emphasizes that you knew Ethan did not support genocide in Gaza.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, and again, this is just so intellectually dishonest. This is not the work of a lawyer who thinks he's got a case. Because the thing is, the way this works is you look at the statement as a whole, in context. This is especially true if you're looking at a claim about what somebody said, or what somebody did, through a speech act. You look at it in context. You can't just say, there's this 55-second bit out of a 1 hour and 45-minute video, and that, if you take it completely out of context, means he can't possibly be supporting genocide no matter what else he says. That's not how that works.
But still label him being one. Additionally, Ethan condemns the genocide in Gaza on numerous occasions prior.
Numerous occasions, like where? Okay, there is a footnote there. And did he say there was a genocide?
To the nuke. And these are all attached with sources.
Okay, well, I'll be interested to see what I hope he scrolls down enough so we can see footnote 7, because I will want to look at those to see if that claim is borne out.
Of what he's referencing. Your desire to falsely paint Ethan as supporting genocide in Gaza is emphasized by the end of the first defamatory video, where you state, quote, I think many of you can probably also help out with that. Most of you have smartphones and cameras and TikTok. So go ahead, start posting about it, spread the word. Aside from being a morally good thing to do, it's also becoming sustainable, you know? It's algorithmically viable. The Ethan Klein crash out industrial complex.
Notice the Ethan Klein crash out industrial complex. He's referring to the fact that Ethan Klein is having this big, extremely public meltdown.
Booming. Isn't that?
Oh, I just noticed the time. It is time for me to wrap up. I will be back tomorrow at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Thank you to everyone who joined in. It's always great to see you. I lost track of time. I was too busy reading lawyers' letters. Have a good night, and I'll see you at